I'm here with Daniel Major from Goviex Uranium. Daniel, can you tell us about yourself and your company?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the CEO of Goviex. I'm a mining engineer by background. I've worked in multiple commodities in multiple jurisdictions and have finally come back to Africa to run a uranium development company. So we've got 3 projects. The main one is in Niger, which is a mine permitted project ready for construction. Second one's in Zambia, also permitted, and the third one in Mali, all in uranium.
Daniel, there are considerable concerns at the moment about uranium, or at least it's not had good press in recent years, and some investors will be concerned about Africa. Can you put their minds at ease?
Yeah, let's start with the uranium first. I think the one thing that's becoming very clear in the big picture on the uranium side is that nuclear energy has got to be part of the clean energy play. Every region that's tried to go without uranium, without nuclear and get rid of it has found that it doesn't work. They've actually, look at Germany, you look at California where carbon emissions are actually going up, and nuclear is actually a very safe energy source. I mean, when you look at it from a straight fatalities point of view, more people die in the wind industry and the solar industry have died as accidents rather than
plugging them in.
Well, I don't know whether it's plugging them in, but you know, we look at the stats, it's actually incredibly safe because it's so regulated. If you look at Niger itself, we've been there since 2007. It's a very stable government, has free and fair elections on a regular basis. It's got a very standardized mining code, which is always one of the problems working in Africa. And in fact, people always assume it's quite a risky place. In fact, if you ever look at the terrorist attacks, none of them are ever actually in Niger. They're also in the bounding countries. So Niger actually is an incredibly safe place to operate. And we've always focused on 100% local employment as well. So, you know, we like to work within that confine as well.
Zambia's just increased its tax rates. Does that give you any concerns?
We actually are a bit of an idiosyncrasy because they used to have a royalty rate for open pit mining and they got rid of that one, and now we're caught by the energy one, which is actually 4% lower than the open pit mining one. So my royalty rate actually dropped. So a bit of an idiosyncrasy. So it hasn't really affected us. You know, we're really driven by the uranium market, and we're seeing that to be very positive going forward. I mean, you've got very strong growth around the world. Energy is just growing everywhere, as you know yourself. You know, no matter any forecast you look at, demand for energy grows. And you've got to look at between 15 and 20% of the energy is nuclear. What you have as the other problem is supply constraint, Kazatomprom, Cameco cutting back. There's talk of a strike potentially at Cameco now as well. They've already got one mine shut. And you've got Kazatomprom basically playing OPEC on the other side. So a tightening market. In the next 5 to 10 years, 20% of global production closes because it's end of life of mine stuff. Current price doesn't support a new mine. So you're going to have a much higher price, and Cameco needs a higher price to justify restarting their own projects.
Going forwards, are you concentrating what you've got, or are you looking at further projects?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we put together a company with a portfolio of assets that are in a pipeline. So we're very much focused on becoming a developer. From an investor point of view, that's obviously interesting because all uranium companies go up with uranium price, but we're one of the few that can go from being a developer to being a producer, which gets a natural re-rate coming with it at the same time. So we're focused on final feasibility study, which is all about cost reduction. What can we do to make the final feasibility study better than the pre-feas? And we're finding some real angles there of technology we can apply.
Have you got any particular customers lined up for future uranium production?
We will. We're talking to groups at the moment, so you're obviously going to be talking to people like EDF, the Russians and the Chinese particularly, and then the US utilities. So we're not in that position at the moment, simply because I don't think the market's there. There's too much uncertainty with Section 232 in the US, for example, causing uncertainty there to the buyers.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you.